of Americans making their unique journeys of faith and spirituality. So Lisa's back with a story about Islam and a part of America where this religion is rapidly growing.
Ribuan narapidana Amerika masuk Islam di penjara setiap tahun. Lantas, mengapa agama ini bisa menarik begitu banyak orang di balik jeruji besi? Islam adalah agama yang paling cepat berkembang di penjara-penjara Amerika. Hal ini tak terlepas dari peran Tayba Foundation, sebuah organisasi pertama di Amerika yang menawarkan program pembelajaran jarak jauh dalam pendidikan Islam bagi para narapidana. Direktur Tayba Foundation, Tami Nsour mengatakan, organisasinya telah melayani lebih dari 13.000 orang narapidana. Dia memperkirakan bahwa sekitar 90% dari mereka masuk Islam dan sebagian besar saat berada di balik jeruji besi.
So this is where it starts for us.
Most days, Tami Nsour heads to the post office to check his mailbox.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Inside, a stack of letters from all over the country.
There's Texas,
Ohio, Florida, Colorado. So all of these are from prison.
They're all from prison.
Nsour is the founding director of the Tayba Foundation, the first organization in the U.S. to offer a distance learning program in Islamic education to prisoners.
How big is the need of Muslim prison inmates seeking out Islamic education?
Oh, it's huge. When we started about 15 years ago, that was the main need that we heard from Muslim prisoners, and so we developed this organization to fill that gap and that need.
That's because Islam is the fastest growing religion in U.S. prisons, and reports estimate tens of thousands of mostly men convert each year.
We've served over 13,000 individuals. By our numbers, 90% of them have converted to Islam, most of them in prison.
What do you think it is about Islam that really resonates with people who are confined and locked up inside of a facility like a prison?
What I think resonates is that there's so much confinement, and then finally finding that Islam is the one that gives them that freedom, because it has a level of submission. So you submit to a certain regiment. There's 5 daily prayers. There's a method. They see that those walls can't confine them anymore.
That is part of what attracted Mohammed Amin Anderson to the faith.
How has Islam changed your life?
When I came to prison, I didn't have my humanity. I'd say it like that. But after entering prison, I've recovered my humanity.
Born Christopher Anderson in Philadelphia, he was the son of a preacher. But as a teen, he answered the call of the streets.
I actually fell into a drug addiction for about 1.5 years. And I got involved with a group of guys, and they were selling drugs in our city.
In his early 20s, Anderson participated in a gang-related murder. He was sentenced to more than 30 years in prison.
How soon into your incarceration did you find Islam?
Maybe 1 year or 2 I was in, I think.
Why Islam and not further into Christianity or Judaism or another faith?
And I spent my years in prison learning about other faiths. So I knew a lot about them, and it was like Islam was the only one that made sense for me.
Was there a particular aspect of it that really resonated with you?
For me, the spirituality. It offered me that sense of guidance, direction.
As his faith grew deeper, Anderson became connected with Nsour and the Tayba Foundation.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
You were teaching him by phone.
There's only so much that you can do with self-learning. So I started taking his phone calls, started sending him material, answering his questions, and really taught him over the course of about 17 years, to the point that then he was able to teach in the prisons.
But yet there are still widespread misconceptions about why people are converting to Islam in prison.
There may be a perception that those people are becoming radicalized. What do you make of that theory?
It's just not the case. The numbers don't show that. Does it exist? Yes. But it's a rare instance. In the same way, are there people who are Christian extremists, who are radicalized in prison, who might go on to do a terrorism act? Yes.
According to the National Institute of Corrections, violence due to prison radicalization by Muslims in the U.S. is a rare event, and there's little to no evidence it's happening. In fact, Nsour says many converts are attracted to the faith by observing how Muslim prisoners carry themselves.
They'll notice that that person's different. He's not falling into the same ruts of how other people might behave in prison. And so they ask them, and then he'll say, well, it's my Islam, and my Islam teaches me about my character.
Anderson was released from prison in July after serving his full sentence. At his parole hearing, he says the chairman called him an exceptional inmate.
What role do you think your faith in Islam played in you being portrayed that way?
It played every part, every aspect of my life.
But now, outside of prison walls, he says his work is just beginning.
I see you becoming emotional.
Yes. Yes.
What is it that's filling you with this emotion?
Because to be able to know where I came from, the person I was, the selfish person I was, the lives I ruined, the people I harmed, and now to be able to give a second chance. But I believe God gave me a second chance to come out here to serve humanity, because the person life I took, he doesn't have a second chance. So I think I owe it to him. I owe it to his family. I owe it to his children to do something with my life.
What would little Christopher Anderson think about Muhammad Amin?
He would think, now you got it. Now you got it.
What did you get?
What it means to live. What it means to live.
Anderson now has a job with the Tayba Foundation and is enjoying a quiet, prayerful life. Nsour told us in his 15 years of doing this, it has been rare for someone to denounce Islam once they leave prison. Evidence that he says shows it's not just a phase behind bars. Back to you in the studio.
Well, very powerful, Lisa, listening to Mr. Anderson. Were you caught off guard by his emotion? Because he was so in control. I love earlier in the interview when he said, Islam helped me find my humanity. I'm for everybody finding their humanity, however they need to do that.
I certainly was surprised, but when he thought back to what his childhood self would have thought, I think he really found that comfort and peace in who he has become.
Lisa, I love the follow-up question. What do you mean by it? And he says, I mean what it means to live. It's just, we wouldn't have that if you didn't ask the question, and it was a really strong piece to end on. So thank you very much.
Also acknowledging the victim, how he feels about the victim, what he's done, and what he's destroyed in the victim's family.
Absolutely.
Very important to hear that.
You went all the places necessary. It was a great piece. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.